Well, I recently played through and completed Mirror's Edge Catalyst, and I gotta say, it's good but not great. I like it, but not a lot. Okay, let me elaborate on that, because I know the internet will get confused if somebody doesn't immediately label anything within the binary of epic to sucks. So, I just gotta break it down here. Okay, the story. I'm going to start with the story. This is the least important part of any game for me, and I actually do feel that Mirror's Edge Catalyst had an improved story on Mirror's Edge, and yet it was still stupid. The whole thing starts, it starts actually with a lot of promise. The whole sort of security, surveillance state kind of thing, which I love these things to bits, especially when drawn in parallel to the current world, because with me it's right up there with reptilian overlords and flat earth and chemtrails, as in paranoid shit that people will try and tell me with a straight face, and I've got to, in real life, and I have to sort of sit there trying not to laugh at them. I can't get enough of this kind of thing. It's so, I don't know, it's a really captivating kind of plot to me. In sort of films I watch, and it makes for a great excuse plot for a game. It's actually wonderful to get running, because the surveillance state or something, I don't know, it doesn't make a lot of sense. There's a whole thing about there are nanites being injected into people called reflection that are going to change the way they feel and control their emotions and stuff, and it's just kind of ridiculous. Although it's a bit better than the original's plot, which kind of felt very small. It's like there are this gang of runners and the government has a program to get rid of them. Woo. So anyway, yeah, it's a really daft story and you really shouldn't really expect much of it. But that's the rub. So graphics. Mirror's Edge Catalyst looks great. The original Mirror's Edge looked great. It had a very singular style. At the time, I would tell people this is what it's like when you let a graphic designer make a game. And I still believe that. I'm not using that as a sort of insult. I think it's actually, no, it's great. It has a very, very focused sort of aesthetic, and it works well. Everything red you can use, everything white is everything else. It's function over form, but within that, it's quite beautiful. A lot of people back in the day, I remember, were all like, well, Mirror's Edge, it would look great if everything weren't all bloom. And no, I think the bloom actually kind of works to it makes everything seem blinding. The pristineness of the city is not a pleasant thing. This is why the sort of runners are rebelling, aren't they? Because the city, the surveillance state is all like, oh, daddy knows best. And, well, no, let people make their own mistakes. I think that's what it's all about. So, Mirror's Edge Catalyst kind of continues that. I think it's a little less focused, there's more colour, although this is used for some colour keying, such as I forget the name of it, but the really upper class kind of areas of glass, the City of Glass, are kind of purple. There's the industrial ones are a bit more orange, I think, that kind of thing. But, the aesthetic is there. It's still a very pretty game. It still all kind of works. One thing I noted, there is a heads-up display that the original was lacking, and I feel that's kind of one of the many ways in which Mirror's Edge kind of, it lacks the focus of the original. The original, there wasn't really a heads-up display because you didn't need one. It was about the running and finding the path, albeit aided sometimes with the runner vision, sometimes not. And this lack of focus, I think, allows me to segue very nicely into the gameplay. I could have mentioned the sound. It sounds great, it's functional, there are some nice squeaky shoe noises. The music is largely incidental like the original. It works about as well as the original, goes with the visuals. Okay, now the gameplay. I feel that the open world was the worst idea that they could have done for the original. I know when the original game came out, a lot of people were saying, oh, this is too linear, it's just like A to B, and it would be better if it were open world. And I'm like, no, what is wrong with you? This game would not be better open world. And Catalyst kind of, it shows this because it loses its individuality, its identity by being open world. You know, I was playing through the game and breaking up fights and stealing like little chips and doing fetch quests, and it felt like Arkham City. It felt like when I watched my partner play Assassin's Creed. Now, I don't play many open world games. They've got to appeal to me, either being Batman or, you know, a sequel to a non-open world game I liked, which really is what Batman was, because Arkham Asylum is still my favourite, but I digress. I don't play very many open world games because they look so horribly generic, and Mirror's Edge Catalyst has a lot of this genericism to it. You know, the original was kind of... okay, so the spiel was free running. That was it. That was the thing you did. There was a purposeful lack of focus on any kind of combat. It was very underdeveloped because it's like you're going to be running. Combat is not a focus here. And indeed there was the Test of Faith achievement that I enjoyed actually getting, where you got through the game without firing a shot at a person. You did fire, you were allowed to fire shots at the computer servers at the end, and in the one section where you have to snipe at a truck, a security truck I think it was, carrying your sister, Kate. But, yeah, Mirror's Edge was never about combat, and Catalyst sort of isn't about combat. You can't steal security guards' guns and use them against them this time, because there's a little hint when the game is loading that says that they are genetically linked to their owner, so you can't use them even if you want to, and you know, that's kind of fine, it goes with the whole plot. But the melee, the hand-to-hand combat is actually far more developed. It has a dodge maneuver. You can get around to the backs of opponents. You can knock them into each other and over things, which is kind of neat. And the whole punching and stuff, you know, it's more structured, and attention is drawn to this with certain sections where you are locked in a room or something, while whomever is on the intercom, usually the character called Plastic, who is cute as fuck, by the way, yeah, while they're like, oh, I gotta open this door, or I gotta activate this elevator, and you just gotta beat up the security guards until the game allows you to get past. And I feel that's not what Mirror's Edge is about. The combat, oh, yeah, there is one nice thing, which is the traversal combat, and this is one thing I wanted from the original, that basically gives you moves when you are performing free-running maneuvers, such as vaulting over fences or zipping down a zip line, that enable you to use your momentum to just knock security guards, or, you know, KSEC, as they're called, the Kruger security in the game. You can knock them over, you can sort of wall run and do a really harsh kick to them, which was in the original, but that's kind of developed a bit more, and was fun. And I feel that's the way it should have gone, you know, just go with the running, just make fucking everything about the running, because that's what the original was. The original was about the idea of pathfinding, of getting yourself from A to B in the fastest way possible. Just any obstacle it's bullshit. Don't do it. Leap over it. It's and I feel like the lack of focus on that with the fetch quests and the security chips and even the fact that the whole time trial thing, take a short part of the level and make it a time trial. That's part of the open world now, and I don't know, it just really feels like it's not focused. This is like somebody told someone else what Mirror's Edge was without any kind of reference, and then they went ahead and made it, putting their own thing in it, open world, whatever. I am rambling. But all this said, I really did enjoy it. The free running was nice and smooth, and the plot, although stupid, yeah, it kind of went places. Mirror's Edge Catalyst is okay, it's kind of good. It's not the most revolutionary thing, but yeah, it'll do.